What up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Ballroom Boxing. So, I wanted to go ahead and jump right into the fights on Showtime Saturday night. The Gervonta Davis card. Man, I do not remember the name of the kid. Ruiz, yeah, the kid Ruiz. Before I get it, of course, Gervonta knocked his ass out. Stopped his ass, you know what I'm saying? But before we get into that, I want to talk about the first fight. The Fortuna versus Bogarty fight. I mean, it was a scrappy fight. I mean, almost, if you've ever seen the Javier Fortuna fight, it was pretty much an atypical Javier Fortuna fight. He, of course, won a unanimous decision. You know, the kid Bogarty, I mean, he held good account of himself. It wasn't a complete wash. He had his moments in the fight, but Javier Fortuna landed the most significant punches. And his head movement and his upper body movement posed to be a bit of a problem for Bogarty because he couldn't actually push the button. Well, I'm not going to say push the button, but he couldn't land the punches. Even though he did land a good amount of punches, he was using his jab, but he was only trying to fight at distance for the most part. Now, there was a lot of holding, but it wasn't so much holding that the referee actually had to penalize anybody for it. But there was a lot of holding. Bogarty, when Fortuna would get on the inside and try to work, and actually, I could actually say that Fortuna didn't take as many opportunities to work on the inside as he could have, to be honest. You know, and they both held on the inside, but I think Bogarty more or less held on the inside because if Fortuna did decide to want to do something on the inside, Bogarty, however, was holding him in order for the ref to break them so he can get put at distance so that he could, work his jab and all those kinds of things. But, like I said, Fortuna got the unanimous decision. It was a 10-round fight. It wasn't all that exhilarating, but it was action through and through, at least from my perspective. You know, American fight fans, unsatisfied with anything less than a fucking Mortal Kombat video game. But now on to the next fight. The kid Mario Barrios and Zamora. Now that was a good fight. That was a pretty decent fight. The kid Zamora definitely came to fight, but Barrios he was just too much for the kid, man. I think it was the third or fourth round, where the ref called the fight. Now the crowd booed. I mean, Mario Barrios did his thing. I mean, and he was fighting at distance. Now, from what I understand about Mario Barrios is that he actually is a pretty good inside fighter because, he before his growth spurt, he was training as a shorter fighter, how to work on the inside, how to work on getting on the inside and putting in that work when you get on the inside. So he can mix it up either way. Now, the kid Zamora, he had a game plan. He didn't come in there to lay down. He came in there to win. And you could see he was actually starting to try and time Barrios with that left hook. Every time they would have those exchanges, if Mario Barrios ended those exchanges with his right, Zamora tried to come over top of him with the counter left. And I shouldn't say anytime he threw the right, but whenever he felt Mario Barrios was finished with his combination, he wanted to counter with that left, and he caught him with the left hook a couple times. It just didn't seem to deter Barrios at all. But ultimately, though, Mario Barrios, his combinations were just pinpoint accurate. He was just tagging the shit out of the kid Zamora, and the ref called the fight. While I do not believe that he was in a state where he was bad off, but the point, what a referee is trying to ultimately do is prevent injury to a fighter. Zamora was not protecting himself at all. His defense was lacking, and you could see that in the whole fight. I mean, for the most part, he tried to hold up a high guard, which wasn't a real good attempt at a high guard, in my opinion. And his head movement was very slight. He bobbed and weaved to the left and right, very sparingly, I should say. He wasn't a very defensive-minded type of guy, and it showed because Mario Barrios' combinations were fucking were right on point. But like I said, I think it was the third or fourth round. Mario Barrios just unleashed a fucking a series of combinations as he continued to tag the shit out of Zamora, and the ref called the fight because he was not blocking. He wasn't defending himself. You know, like I said, I don't believe he was out of the fight, but you got to actually show a ref that you're actually willing to defend and protect yourself in order for them to continue to let you get your face smashed in. And he didn't do that. Anyway, now on to the Tank Davis fight with the kid Ruiz. I believe it's Ruiz. What can I say? I mean, Tank is dominating 130 pounds. There is competition out there for him. I just don't think that they are competition enough for the kid. I know people want to see him fight Lomachenko, and I know the Abner Mares fight is supposed to come up also. Abner Mares is a real gritty, balls to the wall type of fighter, but I think his rock'em sock'em robot style of boxing is going to get his motherfucking brainstem snapped. That's my opinion. I think his motherfucking chin gonna get clapped. Fighting Tank like that, nah, because Abner Mares doesn't have, this dude's hand speed isn't, you know what I'm saying, like lightning fast, you know what I'm saying? He's not, you know what I'm saying, shocking the world with his hand speed. You know what I'm saying? So Tank isn't a slouch in the ring. The dude, he's a very defensive minded offensive fighter. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, he's being groomed by one of the most prolific boxers of our generation, Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? You may not like Floyd, and a lot of people may not like his style, but his style was the epitome of boxing. Hit and not get hit. What more could you ask for? That's what boxing is. Hit and not get hit. But anyway, Gervonta Tank Davis stopped this kid in the first round. Fight was over, and I knew it was about to be over when he landed the first body shot. I watched his reaction from that body shot. First off, the body shot pushed his ass back, but secondly, when Tank started to hone in and focus on the body, I noticed this dude, he was taking very good care to cover his body up. He was making sure to not get hit in the body, and I started noticing his reaction to Tank's punches. I didn't think it was going to end in the first round, but when I saw the first two punches Tank landed on this dude, and I watched that dude's reaction, I knew right then and there Tank was going to stop the dude in the first round. I mean, his face was busted up. The first 2 minutes of the round, his face was already busted up, leaking from the nose. I mean, and first round, he got dropped. You know what I'm saying? He went down on the knee. You know what I'm saying? The ref asked him if he wanted to continue. The dude was unresponsive. He didn't even answer the ref, which means that he didn't want to keep fighting. So the ref called the fight. First round, TKO decision for Tank Davis. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what more can you say, man? Hometown kid from Baltimore, Sandtown. You know, I'm going to tell you right now, I know a lot of you guys don't know about the Baltimore boxing program, man. I know y'all don't, but and even though we don't have a whole lot of champions out of Baltimore currently in boxing, I'm telling you, bro, if you train in Baltimore, and most of those East Coast gyms are fucking hard, balls to the wall, hard as fuck. You know what I mean? I'm going to just tell you, Tank is no slouch. No matter what you think of him personally, the kid is no slouch. I'm just letting you know, man, like real talk. He come from some of the toughest gyms on the fucking planet. The East Coast, man, Baltimore. I'm telling you right now, this kid's going to be around for a long time. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think he can beat Lomachenko now. I know so far as his career is concerned, you know, Mayweather wants his career to go a certain path. And I kind of figured that Floyd would do that with Tank anyway. But I'm going to tell you right now, when he does fight Lomachenko, he's stopping Lomachenko. Straight up and down, I got my money on Tank. Tank is going to knock Lomachenko the fuck out.